who are up there, and both houses do not. They are more in the, most of our state policy benefits urban circumstances. And as you look around, this is not an urban atmosphere, and there's a reason why you live here, because you choose not to be in an urban atmosphere. And so we're trying to craft public policy that more fits this circumstance here. And as you can see, and I'm not here to belabor negative circumstances, but you know what they are. Some of the policies have not been very friendly to this region, and we're trying to correct that. And we work very diligently, and this is one of the ways you get a chance to come and talk to us and express the things that may frustrate you, or the things that you think we might be able to help you with. And that's why we do these kinds of things, is to give you a chance to have access to us directly, and not just through our staff. Both of us, we have almost, I don't know how many bills there were. I know it's over 1,000. I don't know if it's 1,200-ish. But that's a lot of ideas that we're percolating through and trying to...
Mostly bad ideas.
Yeah, they're not all pro-rural areas, I promise you that. So anyways, we're all trying to do our best, and we're trying to do what's best for California. And the only thing I would ask right now is, politically, we're in a very difficult time right now. And there's just a lot of polarization. I know we have probably both Democrats and Republicans here. And let's identify as communities and not as Republicans and Democrats unless we have to. And let's not hate others just because they have a different perspective. Let's try to find the common ground, and let's try to work from there, because that's what makes us all stronger, man. As we polarize and as we silo up, we're weaker. And communities, that's very evident, and it gets evident much quicker. So let's continue to work together, and we're proud to represent you. And it's time for this heavy-winded guy.
Well, you would double your... So you used up dumb days. That leaves more time for me, because this is my district, so no, I'm teasing. Assemblyman Dante Acosta, I don't have one of these fancy signs because I'm trying to save the taxpayers money. They paid for it, it's a joke. But actually, I wasn't even supposed to be here, so I might be surprised.
Actually, his slide has his face on it.
Mustaches, it's like so I'm supposed to be in Ventura County honoring the firefighters over there, and they had to cancel it because they were so worried about all the mudslides. So like last minute, I told Tom, I'll give you a ride up because I'm going home now instead. I live right down the street in Canyon Country, very first exit, so you pass by my house if you're going south, and you pass by his house if you're going north. It's an honor and a pleasure to represent this area. I've been coming here literally my whole life. My father was a Western character actor, so you know, Vasquez Rocks is the backyard for probably 50% of his movies. But it's really a pleasure to serve this community. I understand it. These gentlemen do a wonderful job. Scott's represented the area as my predecessor here in the Assembly. I will tell you a little bit about a bill that kind of dovetails a little bit with what you're doing. We're not going to tax you another $75 per transaction. That was somebody else's bill last year.
Tony Atkins.
Tony Atkins. So Assemblymember Lackey and I are co-authoring 2725, maybe 2725. And what that is a it's like a, we call it the construction core, and what we're doing there is we're dovetailing into the California Conservation Corps, and that particular bill is going to help us with a couple of issues. You know, we have a homeless issue, right? A real crisis, particularly down below. You're seeing the encroachment of more and more homeless people. A lot of that has to do with the fact that housing has gotten way out of hand. I love seeing my house go up in value. It's worth 4 times probably what I paid for it. And probably for a lot of you. But it does price out a lot of people out of the market, and we need the inventory. But we also have another issue is we don't have the skilled labor. So we've gotten together with a couple more members of our caucus, and we've come up with this bill. And what it's going to do is target at-risk youth, 18 to 25-year-old, foster kids, maybe someone who has had a minor run-in with the law. And we're going to put them to work helping them get their GED and also learn a skill or a trade. So in the construction trades, masonry, HVAC, carpentry, those kinds of things, and get them productive members of our society, help alleviate them from being incarcerated or being unproductive and being a drain on the system, and also help us with our needed skilled labor that we have in order to help with this crisis. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's something that I know the Assemblyman is also really proud that we're working on. It's an uphill battle in this legislature. It seems like anything that's really positive and productive is a challenge. We've also got a development of disabled legislation that we're working on, and some other things. And these seem to always be really interesting, that we have to struggle to do something for our communities. But we're going to continue to, to fight to do that. We're going to continue to fight to protect our rural and semi-rural way of life. I mean, I live in canyon country. We have a lot of equestrian areas there off Sand Canyon, and we have a lot of folks that want to maintain their quality of life, whether it's public safety or the rural environment and semi-rural environments that we live in. So we're going to continue to do that, and I guess we can take questions for, you said another hour?
Well, if you talk that long, we'll get one question in.
That's right. Isn't that long? I looked at the clock.
Any questions? Because we can do it privately too, it doesn't matter. Nothing?
Eat.
Anja.
Not one question?
I was so thorough, they don't have any questions. There we go.
Oh, I got a question.
There you go.
Anybody other than Carlo?
You guys could do that when you get together as your cousins. Yeah.
Well, I'll ask for Scott. Scott, is there any way we're going to address school safety at the state level? I know they're trying to do this at the federal level, but it seems like they're kind of going off the rails in different directions and not really.
Yeah, so I'm vice chair of the Senate Education Committee, and we're going to have some hearings coming up on school safety. I mean, obviously, it makes no sense that schools are soft targets. I go to speak to 4th graders, 8th graders, and 12th graders just based upon what they learn for that year in school. And I was out in Hesperia last year, and so I asked the students if I could pass one law that would help you, what would it be? And they said metal detectors at our school. I don't think 4th graders should be having to worry about metal detectors. So we're going to look at that. The big question is, how do we pay for it? We've come up a lot in terms of the amount of money we're spending on K-12, but we're basically only up to where we were before the Great Recession. The other problem that no one ever wants to talk about is public employee pensions. And the schools are going to start getting squeezed next year. 3 years ago, before you guys got in, we had a surplus, so we put $4.5 billion more into the teacher retirement fund because they were $70 billion upside down. Because CalSTRS is not hitting their marks, I don't understand. We pay these guys hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I get a better return on my investments than they do. We've already lost that money, so we're still $70 billion upside down. So teachers are paying more. School districts are going to start paying more, and general funds paying more. So we also got to figure out what's the most cost-effective way to keep our children safe. I mean, there's nothing more important, obviously, than our kids. We're looking at it now. I think the hearing's not next week, but the week after. We'll see. Also, we're going to see what kind of federal dollars come in to help us as well. Well, you want everybody to pack, right? That's your.
No. No, but I just see that at the federal level, they're ignoring a lot of things like metal detectors, having one gate, having a staff that basically screens visitors, and maybe having a, source resource officer, and maybe have 4 or 5 teachers that want to and can and train.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm a little nervous on that because you have resource officers, maybe badge, whatever.
And have somebody look at the gate, as people come into the schools.
Now, you might be interested in knowing that just yesterday, we had in the Education Committee in our house, not the Senate side, but the people's side. I had to get that little jab in. Anyways, no, we had a bill that specifically addressed this issue, and it passed 4-0 through the committee, and that is to our one CSO to every campus. Again, that's very costly, but the point of the matter is, and I think no matter what your discussion piece is, we are keeping we live in crazy times. These are times that these are kinds of problems that we never faced just even a decade ago, and I don't see them just disappearing by public policy. I mean, we can be doing counseling, and all those things are important to do, but there's always someone that slips through. And so, why are we keeping our kids defenseless? And I think that whatever plan we have, we can no longer do that. There's prevention like metal detectors, and darn it, when someone's determined and they're on a binge, they're going to get in. And we need some way to defend them and not have this group slaughter. So we're trying.
Well, Linda's standing up, which means we're wrapping up. But I mean, to me, it really all comes down, and no one wants to talk about the breakdown of the family.
Yeah.
And that's driving so much of this. And I'm not really sure what we can do from a public policy standpoint.
It doesn't fix it.
Because we can't really fix it. But men don't want to be men. They leave their. I mean, you know, if you look at homelessness now, you know, big part obviously drug and alcohol. Big part is single women with children because the fathers left. So.
No morality.
Exactly.
It all
anyway,
contributes and all does.
so it all contributes. So yeah, we got big challenges, but we'll overcome them. Thanks for giving us a little time. My wife just gave me the eye. There's plenty of food here. And I know this looks like pie because it's so big, but it's baklava and it's awesome. So highly recommend it. So again, thanks for coming out. We'll hang out for a while. Maybe not. You're going to a wedding. It looks like. So maybe you're. Please eat. We'll hang out. Answer if you're shy. We'll answer any questions you have.
Thank you, everybody.
He's involved in several organizations in both ACTON and Agua Dulce. Yeah, several. If there's one that she isn't a part of, call her, and she'll. Yeah, because I don't want to miss anything. Susan Slates is our secretary. She owns. And Annette Lane owns Premise Keepers. She lets her husband work for her. We have the Agua Dulce and the ACTON Queens with us as well, ladies. And just again, I want to thank you all for coming out. We are starting to put together our parade. We have not given you a theme. The theme this year, we have come up with Guardians of Freedom, American Heroes. Our Grand Marshals are going to be local vets, so we're going to honor our veterans this year at the 4th of July parade. I'd love to have you all, if you don't have a float in it, you've got to come watch, because it's a lot of fun. What else are we doing?
Or help
Mixers?
Can
Or help us
I mention
plan.
who the next mixer is?
Absolutely.
Okay, Will, where are you? Raise your hand, Will. Okay, well, we have Will from Edwards Jones, and we're doing a ribbon cutting and welcoming him to the chamber and the mixer next month. So that's always, Edward Jones is in Santiago Square.
Yeah.
In Acton.
Right next to my favorite place.
So
So
we welcome him and all the chamber members and all the support and stuff always. And if you want to do a mixer, let me know, and I'll make sure I get everything all set up for you and any help that you need. So thank you all for always attending and supporting the chamber. It's very important that we support each other.
And we'd love to have more chamber members. We'd love to have help. We'd love to have more board members. So if you can help out, have ideas, want to do anything, I have a lot of people come up to me and say, you know, you should really do it this way. And I said, you should really come to a meeting. So please.
That's right.
Yeah. We're a good working group, but
Could we get a picture of the elected officials with the board members?
absolutely.
Whatever. There we go.
I don't know.
History in the making.
Look forward, it'll be good.
Yeah.
I had your hand.
So rested.
Okay.